Hello, everybody. This is Eric Erdman, and you are listening to Dealing the Mobile Sound from right here in the green room of Callahan's. And when Lynn Olshu asked me about doing this podcast, I was super excited because everything Lynn does is awesome. And I was mainly excited because I'm so proud of our mobile music scene, and I wanted to help be a part of shining a spotlight on it. But another part of it was that I was certain that I was going to get to meet some of my new favorite musicians that I was unaware of, and today is one of those because Lynn sent me some videos from our guest today and blew my mind, and I'm a huge fan instantly. Please welcome the one and only Mr. Jacob Brock. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Howdy and hello. Thank you all so much for having me.
Yeah, man. So I've only recently, come across you, but I'm truly a big fan. I've listened to everything online, all the videos that Lynn sent me, and I can't wait to dig into it and ask you about how it came about and where you recorded it and all those things. Yeah. But as you can see, we're sitting around this poker table, so we decided to just use it as part of the interview. So we're going to kind of set up the interview as a poker hand. And don't worry, you don't have to put any money on the table. This is just metaphorical poker.
Okay, yeah, because I was sliding my wallet in my boot,
But as in a poker hand, we start out with anteing up. So just tell me about the time that you can remember when you first kind of believed in yourself, put your chips behind yourself, if you will, in the music industry.
So I grew up down here. I was born and raised down here. Actually, I was born at South and in the year of '93, and I spent a majority of my formative years down here, but split some of them south of Montgomery. I was homeschooled at that point, so I had a lot more time to play guitar, is what that meant for me. And I started going to this like little umbrella program, and I met some other musicians and found a guy who could play a box drum, and I was like, well, we have a band now, And so I remember we played at this place called the Java Bean, or just whatever generic coffee name, place it was, and right off of Vaughan Road in Montgomery. And we knew 5 songs, and 4 of them were probably the same Stevie Ray Vaughan song that I had been practicing for a while.
That sounds like enough for a gig to me.
Absolutely. No, yeah, we stretched it out. We were just kind of background music and making a bunch of noise in there. But that's when the three friends that we had show up to that, that's been a feeling that I think that I've been chasing ever since, and it's kind of grown from there. I think more locally, and more recently, one of the biggest things. It's been a long road, kind of figuring out what my sound was going to be, and and just kind of getting there and refining that once I was in it, and even stepping up into having a band. But I played I met a guy here locally named Quentin Ayers, and he kind of reached out to me and just got in, and he was like, "Have you ever thought about?"
Man.
He's so
Shout
good,
out to
man.
Quentin.
He's so good. He was over at my place last night, and we were making some art. But he kind of put me onto the venues around here, and he got a show together, and we played a show with Cat Deal was on the bill as well. But that was my first time kind of playing my songs with a band the way that they are for the people that want to hear them,
Yeah,
and that was just kind of when I was like, all right, this has got potential, this has legs.
Did that live up to the your 3 friends came to see?
It did,
energy?
man, and so much more. Yeah.
So thank you, Quentin, for starting that. One thing we've talked about over and over on this podcast so far is, I think anywhere you're at, you have to have like a welcoming vibe amongst the whole community, and I'm very proud to say that, like, from my experience, Mobile is just so welcoming. It was so welcoming to me, and I've just seen it in so many other people. You are already making great music. You would have found your way to venues through other things, but like having somebody like Quentin go, let me go ahead and just, not even for his own benefit. It's just because you're good, the venue's good. Y'all need to know each other and make a connection. I love that, and it's like it just makes me proud. Every time I hear somebody else something like that. And Kat, we had Cat Deal on. And she was saying the same thing, probably about the same gig, about Quentin hooking it up. But,
Quentin's the best, man, and I think that what you were saying is so true. For every step up that I think that I've taken, or for every accomplishment or every proud moment that I've had, especially in these last 2 years, I can almost give you a name for who it was that helped me take it.
That's what it's supposed to be like, man. That really is, and it's heartwarming, as cheesy as that might sound, but it feels good. Like that's what music's supposed to be. It's not a competition. It's that we're a family.
Yes.
Everybody should have their own specific voice. So why would you want to? You want everybody to have their voice because the choir's better when that happens, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And well, speaking of, you clearly found your voice now, and let's talk about like going from the Stevie Ray Vaughan 5 songs. Obviously, that was a big influence.
Mm-hmm.
But when you started creating, how big of an influence was that? And did you have other? I'm always interested by this. Some people have a lot of music they like, but they're really just tethered to like 1 or 2 hardcore influences that are really heavy on them. And other people just have influences from across the board. And I'm just wondering how it was for you.
Yeah, no, I think so. Starting with Stevie, I was really my dad played in a band down here forever. Just all ripping up the Causeway and just down at the Pink Pony and stuff like that.
Cool. What's the name of that band?
It's an old band called Boondoggle.
Okay, yeah.
And it was just like a little 4-piece, maybe a 5-piece sometimes. And that's how my parents met. My dad and my biological mom. And so I was a band baby.
Nice.
And, yeah. If I can put that out there,
Clear
the air once and for all.
That's right. It's in your blood.
That's right. I was a band baby, and honestly, my whole family was musical. So on my mom's side, my dad was, or my grandfather, Pawpaw, was a Southern Baptist preacher, and so I was just kind of brought into like all that Southern gospel stuff real young, and his dad, who only just recently passed, so my great grandfather, who got to hold my daughter recently. We have like the 5-generation picture and stuff like that. He was kind of a big influence on my life too, because I dove down into that Southern gospel stuff, and he was in a touring band for a while, so they would load up on the bus, and he sang tenor, which is kind of I kind of have a higher range, I think, so that might be where that comes from. And he was also a car guy too, so like that 93 Cadillac that I pulled up in has his watch hanging up on the on the gear shift.
Man, that's so good.
So, but rest in peace, people. He was awesome, man. He was a great guy. But yeah, just so I was kind of surrounded with it, and I knew that I had to do something with it, and I just didn't really know what that was going to be at first. I thought I was interested in drums for a little while. I have videos of me being my daughter's age, just kind of trying to hit the cymbals, like when my dad would get ready and have band practice and stuff over at the house. And but I picked up, he put an electric guitar in my hands. I can't remember how old I was, probably 7 or 8, and I put it back down pretty quick because I was like, these strings hurt. It was like a pawn shop special that he had rewired and stuff, put some new pickups in, like a Strat copy or something, and just a parts caster. And he I don't know if it was thick strings or I was just cutting teeth, so to speak. Like my calluses hadn't formed or anything like that yet, but I wasn't interested in it for a while. And then I started listening to some of his old, he used to make these, they used to burn CDs with all their set lists on them, and just kind of pass them around. And so I would just run those, and it was all like alternative, heavy dad rock, of the era, Stone Temple Pilots and all the way to like Eve
This
6
is making so much sense to me because I was going to ask you. I was like, you have a little Stevie, a little Jesus in there, listening just as a fan to your songs that I have been doing recently. There's some movements in there that I wouldn't just expect. Like sonically, I'm like, okay, cool, this is an Americana kind of vibe with some Western things in there. But you move, and now that description fully makes perfect sense to me with some gospel major key moves and then the 90s rock thing. Like you blended it in well, where it's I don't know if I could have pulled it all out of the soup and been able to identify it all, but now that you said it, it's like that's the perfect description.
Just a big blend, just a big blend of everything that I've just kind of been exposed to my whole life. And then I also attribute a lot of it to sorry to go back to the electric guitar stuff. I kind of went off down that road and taught myself to play. I took lessons for a little while, but I'm not a lesson guy, and learned that pretty quick in my life. And
that's a lesson in and of itself.
That's a lesson of itself, right? It was actually at Jubilee Music when they were running lessons out of there, and it was some dude named Nathan, I think is what his name was. But I was young. I was real young, and I remember for everybody else was playing, just the classical pieces and stuff like that for their rehearsal. But I made it all the way to the rehearsal, but I kind of dropped out after that. But I did Hotel California for my for my piece.
Nice.
And just the solo section, and I think I sang it too. But yeah, found Stevie, found all the records that my dad had, a lot of AC/DC and Angus Young, just all these rippers that were kind of kind of just these vessels for blues music, and you know, had taken it a step further, and you know, really evolved it into what everybody was listening to, you know, when my dad was growing up. And but I was like, well, why do they play like this? You know, who are their people? And that's when I started digging back into that's when I found like Lonnie Mack and Lightning Hopkins and all the Kings and stuff like that. So I just took it as far back as I could, like probably to like Robert Johnson, honestly. And I remember Eric Clapton was obsessed with him and had put out that album and stuff. So that was heavy on rotation. And I remember going to a Lost Lonely Boys show in Montgomery, and Henry Garza, shout out Henry Garza, he's incredible. That whole group, they were
really
we'll
great.
never forget that show. Mm-hmm. That was insane. But I ended up, actually, my dad carried me down to the stage, and I ended up catching the drummer's drumstick at that show.
Nice.
And and my dad's a big guy. There was a guy in the crowd that grabbed it, you know, after I caught it, and I'm just a little kid, you know, maybe 13 years old, and some dude tried to pull it out of my hand, and my dad, who's 6'4", 6'5", just kind of put his hand on that dude's shoulder, you know, and gave him the eye, and he was like, let it go, and dropped it pretty quick. But the strangest opener that they could have had for that show, and it was right before they blew up, but it was the Zac Brown Band.
Oh, wow.
And they opened up.
I can see that, though. I mean, it is weird, but I can
for
see
sure.
it.
Yeah, I never would have, like, you know, I was going to hear just being immersed in all this blues stuff, and, you know, having all of my little, you know, like, I think I played through like a Vox amp or something like, or no, it was a Marshall amp, but I had all these like Bassman emulators and like a deluxe reverb emulator and stuff like that, all kind of running through it. But just to be in a blues mindset and then come and hear this dude absolutely annihilate a nylon string guitar, you know, flat picking.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Was it a good eye-opening experience?
It was a great eye-opening experience. They're
super good, right?
The band's crazy. They opened up with a cover of "Devil Went Down to Georgia," and they played it 100 miles an hour, and I just remember being like just smoked, like in awe. You know, I couldn't believe it. And then I listened to the rest of their set, and I was like, this band's playing four chords, and they're writing these songs that I identify with as a 13-year-old kid. I can do that. I know those chords. I can write songs like that, you know. So that was kind of when I started going down that road and writing my own music. And I also had a sister too. I have a younger sister. Shout out Holly Brock. She just started playing. She's got a little spot at the Brickyard every once in a while.
Oh, cool.
Do the band thing with Quentin and them, and she'll sing. She sings backup for me as well. But incredible vocalist. She actually Lynn at the showcase at the District Hall. She stepped up with me and did
a couple of the videos Lynn sent me where y'all sing.
Absolutely, yeah. That sibling harmony is
can't beat it.
Can't beat it. But she. I grew up with her, and we had to share a CD player a lot of the times, and she listened to just a lot of the girly pop stuff, you know. So naturally, I probably had words to say about it back then, you know, because it wasn't cool. But
I don't know how you feel, but it's like, to me, it's I mean, clearly any creative art, I think, like input, you know, is going to inform. It doesn't inform what you have to say, but it informs your vocabulary to be able to say what you want to say. Where, like, listening to your dad's band, you already had some structural knowledge, so that when you want to say a thing, it might sound nothing like that band, but when you get to a point, you're like, no, that's not exactly it. It's not an A minor, it's an A minor 7, and I can hear the difference, whether you know to call it that or not.
Yeah.
Having that, and so, like, you know, girly pop might not have been your thing, but it might have, you know, there might have been some little movements in there that, like,
man, I absorbed it.
I'm not saying that you're gonna write girly pop, not that you can't, but I'm saying, like, in the things that you're writing or playing, I always just think that's cool, where you can't help but be influenced a little bit.
Yeah.
You still get to say what you want, but with a larger lexicon, vocabulary, you know.
No, 100%. And I see it showing up in my, you know, because I'll have these songs that show up with these like illustrious like pre-chorus sections and that just go into these like major lifts of like hooks, you know, and I'm just like, where did that, like, you know, I try to rack my own brain. I don't dive in too deep because I don't ever want to get too close to the void. But
right,
you know, I started putting two and two together, and I was like, this is probably Lady Gaga, you know, or like this is this came from Beyonce, or this is,
I mean, what
100% like a you know, this borrows like a maybe like a One Direction tune, or you know.
I mean, what's wrong with it? I mean,
Nothing at all.
again, it's just we're just using musical words to say our piece.
That's right.
You know? So maybe we had some that we're not that proud of the influences, but they're in there.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing about being from here. I just think is of course, there are people around that are pure bluegrassers, and there are people that are pure rock band and pure whatever. But a lot of it is you can't help but, if you went to Mardi Gras, you heard the Excelsior band. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, cool. I might not do traditional jazz and stuff, but there's something in those changes in the melody that's just back in there, whether you're conscious or otherwise. I typically can hear somebody that's been washed in the Mobile area just because they got there's a little tweak in there. they got a little slang if we're gonna keep going with the vocabulary. I recognize my folks' accent anyway, and I picked up on some of that in your. I know you've been around not just solely in Mobile, but you hear it instantly. The production and the sound of the movements it's Americana, vibey, spacious kind of thing. There are tropes that can go along with that that are great. They're fine, but it's like I love it when it's got a little flair and a little twist to it that bends my ear, and you have that on every song that I listen to. So it kept it interesting for me.
Yes, sir.
It been very entertaining for me to get to know what little of your catalog I've been able to so far. But let's talk about this. This one's a little tricky, but the first card is the flop, and so can you remember a song that you were just so proud of? I like to think of it like you had a collection of songs, like an album or EP or something that's coming out, and you're like, this is going to be the crowd favorite that everybody loves, and then they pick a different song. It doesn't mean the song's bad or whatever, but in your mind, you thought this was the ace, the number one, and it ends up just being like more of a B-side that you still love.
Yeah.
Like, can you remember one of those? Or
I feel fortunate to be able to say that I haven't really experienced it in that capacity yet, but I think that I've had my own personal flop. I was chasing, I think I spent a lot of years being influenced by maybe, I don't say the wrong people in a condemning way, but just I was with folks that were kind of steering me in a direction that was very, very obviously not the road that I was supposed to go down, as far as like being pigeonholed maybe like into a genre or in that capacity. I spent a lot of time, and I'm grateful for a lot of the people that I met during that chapter, but coming out of it was like full-blown identity crisis. And, when it didn't work out, and, I just, I kind of had to rebuild from ground zero, but it was an experience. I would call it a flop because it was just one of those experiences that kind of push you into like just a full blown identity crisis,
Not to pry, we don't want the information, but more bandmates surrounding people, or like managerial. And it was it wasn't anybody that I was associated with here locally in the state of Alabama, but I met It was when I was coming off of a tour with the military. I went to Afghanistan in 2014-15. Thank you for your service.
Absolutely, man. It's the most fun I never want to have again. That was crucial to who I am today. It's not. I don't think it's a part of my identity, but it's just those connections that I made and those friendships that I made. Some of those guys I haven't talked to in years, but I know if I picked up the phone and called them, they would answer and they would show up for me. And I don't think that there's that's powerful. But it was a situation where I had landed in Muscle Shoals area, and I was playing a gig, and I was approached by somebody named Ryan Rogers, and he came up to me out of the blue, and he was just like, "Hey man, I don't know nothing about music, but I just want to get you in front of some folks, And so it was one of those kind of things. And Ryan invested in me heavily, and to have somebody that believed in me from, just the seedling of a songwriter, a musician that I was looking back, that was incredible, and I owe him a lot. And I mean, I'm still close with him. You know, I still go up and pop by and see his kids and FaceTime with him and stuff like that. But it's just one of those things that we tried, and the way that we went, it didn't work out. So there was a lot of heartburn, and there was just a lot of other stuff going on in my life too at the time. But really going through that, I'm kind of grateful that I did, because I feel like it really put me at a crossroads where I had to make a choice on whether or not I wanted to continue doing this.
Right.
And it kind of surmounted to this. We were meeting with major labels in LA and doing the whole show,
doing the dance,
and it was wild when it was happening, and but it just ultimately ended in I started losing my voice.
Right.
You know, to if I can add this, like, you know, cosmic or like universal, you know, hand that was just kind of blocking me from going any further. I lost my voice, and I didn't know what it was at the time. I thought it was just sinuses, or, you know, maybe this Alabama pollen had finally done its number on me. But
you lost your literal voice. I
lost
thought
my
you were
voice.
saying like your
It was medical. I went to I was seeing a ENT up there in the Shoals area. He was an older gentleman, and he kept putting me on antibiotics and thought it was something, maybe like a sinus infection or something like that, you know. And finally, I was just like, you know, I remember talking to my fiance at the time, and I was like, hey, something's wrong. You know, I can barely talk. I can't breathe. And she got me an appointment at UAB, and I went up there, and I mean, it was 10 minutes. I was in there, and they scoped me, and they were like, hey, you got a vocal polyp the size of like a ping pong ball in there. And it wasn't that big. It was probably the size of a dime, but it was big, you know.
That's, you know, any vocal polyp is that is not your friend as a singer.
And I was still playing. I was still going out and playing. That's how I supported myself at the time. So I was going out. I was driving all the way to Fort Walton from Muscle Shoals to play gigs, and you know, that's just kind of how I supported us at that time. And I was doing these 3 and 4 hour shows just with no voice, just with, you know, the doctor explained it to me like, you know, vocal cords are supposed to kind of billow like wind blowing in a curtain, you know, and mine were just like clapping together,
which just makes it worse. You know.
And
kind of running on its
I was just kind of burning through it. I don't know where it would have ended up, but they scheduled me for surgery. I'm pretty sure it was like either 2 weeks or the week after that, and I went in. They put me under, got me fixed up, and then my grandparents were living my papa and nana were living in Blairsville up in Blue Ridge, Georgia at the time, and so I just kind of ducked out after that and took like a week to heal up in the mountains. And it was kind of awesome though, because I didn't have to talk for a month, and I just had like a little board that I would write, or like a little notebook, you know, that I would write everything down. So that involuntary vow of silence, you know, kind of put me back in my head, and I was able to do a lot of further deconstruction and some reconstruction there too. But I started writing music again then, and just coming out on the other side of that, I was just so excited and ready to pick up a guitar and put some of these words to music, you know.
That's great. I mean, I'm sorry you had to go through that to get that, but I mean, that passion and just need to do it and not be able to, all pent up, getting to come out at once. So let's talk about that. You, from that flop, you know, as you call it, it was more of a bounce, because after that, you've gotten to here. So after that happened, the vocal surgery and the recovery, then what's the next step? Did you immediately start recording, or just gig?
I did. So I came back down here for a little while, but my heart was still being pulled back up towards the Shoals. So, and it's something I look back on, and I have to forgive myself for, because I moved my now wife, moved us around a lot, just kind of deciding where I needed to be planted for this to really grow. And so we went back up that way, and I started. I met some guys from Fame, and started writing with them, and started putting some stuff together. Shout out Fame Studios, yeah.
Old publishing company. I used to write for Rick for about 10 years.
Gotcha, man. Yeah, it was they had a good crew over there at the time.
No, they always do, and
still
do.
I met some guys from over there that were writing, and kind of plugged in with them for a little bit, and I think that was really what kind of pushed me into more of the scene around there. And then I met, this was probably, I think, right off of COVID. It must have been 2021, 22. I started hearing about this guy named Austin Motlow, and I started listening to some of the records that he had worked on, just as an engineer and producer. And I sent him a message, and I was like, "Hey, I have an idea," and here we are.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. So that's who did the EP that I got to listen to. Oh,
Absolutely. 100 shouts out. Austin Motlow is one of my best friends. Harper, my daughter, calls him Uncle Austin. He's
nice.
He's just he's a partner.
Well, this seems like a good time. We may have already jogged past it accidentally, but so the next card is The Turn.
Mm-hmm.
So at what point in there, clearly it would have been before that, but do you remember the time when music seemed to have turned from something that was like more of a hobby that you could get some money for to more of like, I can provide a living? It's more professional.
Yeah, I guess dressing it up and presenting it as a band, and just getting to share that stage and energy with other people, and seeing the response that just anybody who might have been there because they were invited by a friend that I had invited personally. So
that would have been obviously before the vocal polyp surgery, somewhere in there. Right?
Well, this would be recently. This would be kind of after that.
After that.
I knew that it was something that I was probably that I had to do in some capacity, or I would just implode.
Right.
But not until I started, not until I really planted it and had other folks show up to invest in it with me, and have that verbal confirmation and validation.
Yeah, that's more what I'm looking for, because I think all of us, you hit the stage, you played for those three friends in Montgomery or whatever, and it's like the Disney, you go to Disney World, you're like, oh, I want to do this forever, like this is the greatest feeling in the world, but at some point you gotta go, but can I do this? And at some point you go, oh, I can do this. Like that's a big turning point, I think, at least it was for me.
Yes.
Well, look, since we've been talking about your music, why don't we get you to play one? You got a song on your mind?
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of the more recent ones that's widely available, that was released, and I put it out a little too soon maybe, but it's going to be the single from the next group of songs that I got coming out here shortly, called Gift Horse. But this is Lasso.
Lasso around me, pull me over. Last chance, my stomach was in knots. Last beer tonight, alright, I guess so. Let's go around me, pull me home. I burn not bright, the street light man. Something's not right. I don't want land. I make my move. I slow my hand. Scared hands don't throw so well. The lasso. So I leave the shoot so quick to blow it. I should go for the things I want. That gate is closing up, I know it. Let's go, give it one more shot. I burn not bright, the stage light man. Something something's not right. My road won't land. I make my move. I slow my hand. Scared hands don't throw so well. The lasso. The lasso. The lasso. I burn not bright. The stage light, man, something's not right. My road won't land. I make my move. I throw my hands. Scared hands don't throw so well. The lasso. The lasso.
Oh my god, that's seriously one of my favorite new songs. That's heavily in the playlist now.
Thank you.
I absolutely love that song for a bunch of different reasons, and I don't want to belabor the point, but the sound of it is beautiful. You have an amazing voice and play the hell out of a guitar, but it's your melodic choices are really interesting to me, and also I love it that it's like scared hands don't throw so well. The lasso, like that feels so literary to me. Are you a big reader, or is that just sounded good? How you want
Absolutely.
to say it?
Actually, funny enough, and she is going to get a kick out of this, but and I still have to go back and amend this because she doesn't have songwriter credits yet. But my wife, I was struggling with the tagline because the song had like a couple of different. It all fell out at once, and then like the hook was there, but it was I can't even remember what I said before. I don't know, something hands, but I couldn't figure out what it needed to be, and she was like, why don't you say scared hands, and I was just like, yeah.
Yeah.
You
know what? You're pretty good at this, honey.
Yeah, absolutely. Write a word, get a third, right?
Yeah, that's right.
But she did, man. I have to give her credit for that one because I was struggling with it for a while, and we were just up late one night, and she was it was one of those nights where she, was vibing with me, and we kind of made that progress together. So
that's the beautiful thing about, I guess, all art. But in my world, I just I can only speak about what lane I'm in, and or we're in the. But when you're writing like that, like, obviously you would say, "Scared hands don't throw the lasso so well." Mm-hmm. When it's done with intent, it just makes it that much richer.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, that's the product of growing up on those the pawpaw I was talking about. Just growing up on the Lonesome Dove narration and and a lot of those old Western paperbacks. Which actually, I brought you guys something.
A gift.
Yeah.
The first gift here on Dealing the Mobile Sound. He brought us Louis L'Amour, baby.
Inside of them, but yeah. Those are for y'all. Thank you.
Man, thank you. It's hard to say you have favorite guests, but when they show up with gifts. Well, all right. So you went up and recorded with Austin. What studio did you use?
So we kind of started. Funny enough, we right when we met and decided to go was a huge page turning for me because my wife and I just had our little girl.
Nice.
And all roads kind of lead back home eventually. So her family's from North Mobile County, and my family's on the Baldwin side. And we came back down here, and but we kind of Austin got with me, and we kind of made a pact that we weren't going to let this die out. And my dad has a studio that he kind of fashioned together, and we ended up naming it Saddle Down Studios. And Austin would come down here, and he would literally just
dad boondoggle to the studio.
Yeah, shout out Kevin Brock. He would just pack his Subaru Outback, I believe, and just full of stuff. Just full of all of his stuff that he would need. And we came down here, and that's where we got a lot of the. I'll have to send you the video, but actually there's a Lasso in Lasso that you can hear swinging. Like we had his little Tascam, and there's a bunch of sounds like that throughout the album that we just added as texture.
I was going to go back and listen anyway. Now I can listen for the Lasso.
Listen for the Lasso, man. But yeah, I actually have the video. I think he's probably over it by now. But there was one time where there was one loop where I just kind of got too close and I smacked that Tascam out of his hand and it went flying. I think it knocked the batteries out of it, but it was still intact and still recording. But there's a lot of stuff like that we used. But he would pack up that Subaru and come down here, and we would just camp out in the studio for a weekend. But we kind of workshopped all the tunes there and carried those demos back up to Muscle Shoals, and for the first EP, the High Noon EP, we recorded a lot of those at a studio out of Nashville is where we got a lot of tracking done, but we also got some tracking done at Sundrop Studio, which is Single Lock's studio.
Yep.
And shout out John Paul White.
John Paul White, my boy.
That's him, yeah. He
Ben Tanner.
The big Western fan too. Yeah, Ben's great. There he is. Oh, that's all of them.
Sorry, just for those of you listening, this green room is bedazzled with set lists and pictures and beer posters, as well as a Christmas card from the Single Lock guys. So shout out to the Single Lock brethren.
Absolutely.
That's cool. That makes sense. I was wondering because I was like, man, y'all got sounds like that on a Tascam, and I was like, oh, okay. So you had a Single Lock. Okay, that makes. I mean, no offense to Tascam. I've heard amazing things done on Tascam,
Yeah.
but yeah, that sounds.
Also one more studio to plug here. So Lasso, we did a lot of that too. It was Noble Steed is the studio. Craig Alvin, who is that's like on the Sheffield side of the Quad Cities. Mm-hmm. But Noble Steed is a really cool studio. Craig's great, and we got a lot of that. Captured a lot of that magic there too. That's just cool. A really cool place.
Well, the next part of our poker game is the river. So if you get to go to the Mobile River and go to your honey hole and bring somebody with you to go fishing, living, dead, famous, not famous, I like to think about who you'd like to bring, so that after the fishing, you might come, sit down and want to hear their story about it or write a song with them about it.
I've thought about this before, and if we're going to do it that way, I'm only going to say this because I'm wearing his T-shirt and because I just really subscribe to his story, man. There's a lot of things. The more that I learn about him, the more closely related to him I feel, and I just feel like we have there's just some similarities in our arcs. And but yeah, probably Abe Partridge, man.
Abe Partridge, my dude.
I had a buddy of mine that I went on my second tour with. I went to Guantanamo Bay, and this dude's name is Peter John Cole, and he lives up in the central Alabama area, and he's a fly fishing guide for I think on the Coosa. I can't remember the name of his company. It's I don't know. I'll email it over to you guys because I want y'all to know about it. But
right.
He actually put me on to Abe, and it wasn't his music at first. It was his podcast,
Amazing.
Alabama Astronaut Podcast, and I was
amazing.
Bought in. I was just driving a lot at that time, and I had a lot of road time, so I just kind of binged it and then went back and listened to it again.
I was going to say, well, lucky you. Then you got to dig into his music, which is amazing. Yes. And then you got to see his art, which is amazing.
Yeah, there was just some cool stuff that happened on there, like swapping instruments and like with the dude from the church, and just like there were just so many little magic moments that came out of that podcast. And and then I dove into his music and started going into that. And then one of my actually, she plays fiddle with me every once in a while when she can. She just had a baby, but Amanda Donald.
Love her.
Yeah, she's super cool. Her sister Katrina, and I know that they play with Abe, here and there and stuff like that. And it's nothing I wanted to force, and I didn't reach out to him. He did follow me back on Instagram, but I just wanted it to happen organically. I just want to. But I would love to. He's kind of a bucket lister for me to either write or play a show or just kind of. I
actually have been fortunate enough to go fishing with Abe.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good fishing buddy. He'd be perfect. And I don't want to speak on his behalf, but I'm certain that he would be more than happy to go fishing with you. So this doesn't have to be fictitious. We can just make this happen.
Yeah, if this could happen,
let's do it.
I'll shoot you my calendar. No,
let's do it.
But
all right, Abe, you're on the hook. No pun intended.
My buddy that's the fly fishing guide. He had sent me that podcast and everything, and I think a couple weeks after that had actually he took Abe out. And so they got a whole experience together and stuff like that. I saw him post pictures about it, and I just kind of shot a message. And I was trying not to ask too many questions because again, I just don't want to I just want it to happen organically. But yeah, I'd love to pick his brain, man, and maybe even play a show together. I think that would be cool.
Excellent.
And go fishing. Yeah.
Let's see what we can make happen. Well, all right. So now that you have Lasso, are there plans for a tour behind that? Or more writing, more recording? Like what's the next 6 months to a year look like?
The thing that pisses me off the most about songwriting is that I'm always once the bow is finally around the project, like I already have the next thing, and I'm already so far into it that I'm just like can't give it enough attention, can't get to it fast enough.
I feel you so deeply.
Can't get to it fast enough, but I'm really excited about this. That's kind of why I've been releasing songs the way that I have. The High Noon EP was just a collection of 4 songs, and this is just going to be the Echo project. These are all the songs. They're a little more dressed down. They're a little more analog. They're a little more like I guess a little less produced, and but they're still bangers to me, and I just feel like I can digest and I can move from project to project a little bit easier that way. So this is gonna be a collection of 4 songs too. It's called Gift Horse, and so this will be the first leg of Gift Horse.
Oh, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lasso is the single. Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Well, we're all looking forward to it, and everybody out there, go look up Jacob Brock, the Gift Horse. Well, let's play another song. Why don't we have you here? I want the music, baby.
I'll play all day.
If you're gonna play us one, why don't you tell me about it? Where it came from?
Yes, this one's gonna be. I have this one reserved for the second leg of Gift Horse. So This is not about to come out, but I play it a lot just because it kind of breaks the wall a little bit, and which I hardly ever do, and mentions Mobile. So. Y'all remember that day that it snowed like 10 inches?
Absolutely.
Okay.
My rear tire is getting low, thread's bearing and it's starting to give. Every day that I don't tend to it is another spent wishing I did. So I called you to let you know, and I thought I was getting somewhere. Leave it to me just to get it all sideways. Damn, baby, I was playing so fair. There's 10 inches of dry snow in Mobile. Could it be hell froze over still? Or is it just me? Well, I could plan my day around a storm, still get caught out in the rain. Wishing I was never born, taking your name in vain. Goddamn, I'm getting old. My thread's bearing and it's starting to give. And every day that I don't tend to it is another spent wishing I did. So I've thought about letting go, and I thought I was getting somewhere. 10 years I've been burning these highways just to wind up right back here in 10 inches of dry snow in Mobile. Could it be hell froze over still? Or is it just me? Well, I could plan my day around a storm, still get caught out in the rain. Wishing I was never born, taking your name in vain. Taking your name in vain. With 10 inches of dry snow in Mobile, 10 years I just caught a chill. I think it's just me. And I could plan my life around a storm, still get washed out in the rain. Wishing I was never born, taking your name in vain.
Oh my God, I love it. Every day I didn't tend to is another wishing I did. Come on, man. I thought I liked you until you started stealing all the good lines. No, that's genius, man. I love that.
Thanks, man.
Man, what a beautiful song. Well, it really is a pleasure to get to know you and your music. And you know, you ain't seen the last of me, I promise. And we're better for having you not only on this podcast but in our music scene. So thank you for what you bring to it. And I can't wait to hear the rest of the Gift Horse. Will there be 4 legs of the Gift Horse?
Yes, there are. Yeah, and the third installment will be called 3/4. I just want to go ahead and get that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Don't give us the 4th one yet. We want to wait on it.
Yeah, we're gonna wait on that one to drop. Yeah.
All right. Well, before we get out of here and shuffle up for the next episode, we ask our guests to go all in. If you got to put your chips in and behind somebody from the Mobile area music scene that you just believe, no matter how much success they have, you believe they deserve more shine than they're getting.
Yeah. If I haven't named them already, it's you probably seen them on my social feeds or me posting their stuff in my story.
In addition to your sister, you
In
better
addition
say that
to my
first.
sister, yeah,
You
no,
better say that first.
Holly for sure.
Okay.
And I've been writing a lot for her lately. She's wanting to pursue artistry and.
All right. So I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay. It's all good. She's wanting to pursue artistry, so I've been writing for her a lot, and then and really just some of the people that kind of showed up for me out of the blue and really helped me take this thing further and take those songs that I'd recorded and just put together almost just a tangible experience. All the folks in my band. I talked about Amanda. I love her stuff a lot. I've been a fan of hers for a while, and it was like one of those messages I had to send and like work up the courage to send it, because I just know she's an incredible player and
absolutely
and songwriter and yeah, I don't want to get in trouble not naming.
No, we don't want to put you on the
name,
spot. This is not your only one. Just think of one amongst the many that deserve more shine.
Just everybody, man. I saw y'all had Garrett Howell on here. He's real good. I've met a lot of great writers and folks at the songwriter nights that they do over there at the People's Room. Everybody in there that has the courage to go up on the stage. I hope that their songs just turn into blessings for them. And anybody who's out here doing what I'm doing and is brave enough to share their heart with the world. And their creativity with the world. I pour all of my motivation and all of my momentum and any way that I can use my platform to benefit them. It's just always available, and just reach out to me. And if I don't know about you yet, please just hit me up. You can follow me at Jacob is a Writer on Instagram.
Couldn't be more beautifully said. Perfect. Thank you again for coming, Jacob Brock. And thank you for listening to another episode of Dealing the Mobile Sound from right here in the Callahan's Green Room. To hear music by Jacob and all of our other guests, tune in to mobilebayradio.com. And as always, thank you to Will and the Bushmen for the intro and outro music. Until next time, I'm Eric Erdman.